kiss and hug me. Come on strong, go on and love me. Let's not waste that big old moon. Wake up and smell the perfume. Just say if you want to be more than friends. Got some love I'd like to make. Maybe you can squeeze me.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Marketing Momentum with Charles and Deborah. I almost forgot my name there for a minute. Hi, Charles.
All right, yeah. Hello, Deborah. Hello, everybody.
It's good that I remember your name. That part. It's like, what's my name again?
Right. Well, yeah, and depending on what time of day you catch me, I won't even remember that. So.
It's pretty bad when you're like dreaming that you're posting G+ posts in the middle of the night. I'm waking up going, what word do I want to put? What group do I want to? What community do I want to post this to? And the YouTube. What's the tag? And I'm like, goodness sakes, I need to be sleeping, not dreaming about this stuff.
Right. Right. Or or the kids, you just call them "Hey you."
Yeah. Yeah. I've called them the dog's name. I've switched genders. Fortunately, they're not offended.
Yeah.
You don't have that problem. You have two girls. Yeah.
I do have that problem, and I just say, you know who I'm talking to. Just come here.
But you at least don't get the wrong gender, right?
That I cannot do. But if I could, I would. Now, when I had the 14 boys, I called them some of everything.
That's where you develop that. I'm talking to you.
Right? Yeah. You know who I'm talking to.
Exactly. Well, Charles, you have a lot of things going on right now, a lot of changes. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. It's kind of weird. It kind of happened really fast. Eastern University, where my wife got her MBA, they've asked me to teach some classes. And, previously, I probably said no to them for, I'd say, the better part of 3 years. And I have traditionally always said that, whatever Eastern asked me to do, I would do. I always say yes to them. The last 3 years, I just have not. It's funny, I haven't been in contact with them. They haven't been in contact with me. The dean moved, and then someone contacted me out of the blue, and they said, well, what do you do? And, I said, well, I do marketing and the whole thing. And then, class comes, and then they asked me to teach another class, and then another one coming up, after that one. So I'm really probably going to go ahead and say yes to them, because what it's going to allow me to do is to focus on the radio show kind of exclusively, really going after the right audience, really going after the right sponsors for that show, and then really continue to help people with their platform, continue to help people with providing themselves, if they want to do radio like I'm doing, or even if they want to do hangouts, them over into the right place. So I'm going to kind of focus again locally, which is what I wanted to do. The university is local, and then really give 100%, to the show, because even today, I realize, okay, well, hey, you know what? It's Wednesday. I don't have a guest for today, and a lot of that is a function of me being so incredibly, busy and unfocused that I just kind of missed it. So this is really going to kind of get me back centered, because the show is really the center of everything I do. It's kind of like my baby. So so yes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to teach marketing, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. So.
Well, that sounds exciting. I wish I were local. I'd come and take your marketing class.
Yeah, it's interesting, because the last class I taught at Eastern was a macroeconomics class, and I ended up talking about marketing. So so it's kind of like it just kind of gravitates back there, and routinely I really end up talking about whatever it is that I'm reading at the time, right? Because I just like to bring the outside reading in to kind of enhance whatever the curriculum is, because people get bored. Most people don't read textbooks. They say they do,
That's
and
just
I'm
me.
supposed to make them. But right, yes, nobody really reads them. So I like to bring in, the outside reading, and then the, current events. Not so much current events, but just kind of what I'm reading right now. And I know, so right now, I mean, I'm really, reading a lot about, we've been talking about, apprenticeships. We've been talking about, even an article today in the Wall Street Journal, or yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, that just kind of talked about, where people, where folks need to go, when they first come out of college, where they're going to be able to go professionally. And so I'll be talking about a lot of those things, how to master what it is that, a person does before they kind of move on. Because, as I have been seeing, it's interesting, you and I are in this this blogging group, and really, I'm going to stop and we'll get on to the subject. But
It's okay. Keep going.
A very interesting conversation that I witnessed, and I don't know if my perspective changed as a result of it, but I really did take note that on the one hand, there was one person who was saying that, hey, you know what, I don't think social media is anything. And then, there was another kind of camp that said, well, hey, I think social is really cool, and social is really effective because I got a client from it. And, and I thought about that. My intuition all along has been about Facebook and about Twitter and about Pinterest, is that, you sort of generate the I think we sort of generate the activity around it, and we make it what it is, talking about us solopreneurs and marketers. But at some point, you have to be doing something worthy of taking a picture of. You know what I mean? You have to be doing something worthy of being discussed. It's not just because, again, I mean, because there's so many people, and I guess I have to feel that way because there's so many people who are more advanced in terms of using the tools and in terms of using, the different things to get it out on there. And my feeling is, okay, wait a minute, let me take a step back from this. When I read that yesterday, I said, well, if I have 2 hours, right? If I have 2 hours, how much time should I spend on social media? And so what's the answer to that? Well, the answer is that I need to spend 2 hours on doing something worthy of being on social media. Because at that point, somebody, even if I have to pay them, can do the social media for me, right? So it's not that I don't want to tweet and to post on Facebook and do all those things, but at some point, it's less about the stuff we're doing, and it's more about the stuff we're doing that's worthy of being talked about, right? And so I think that kind of helps me even now. What I'm doing is I know that, yeah, I've kind of like really got a handle on what I should be doing on Twitter, what I should be doing on LinkedIn, and getting it hooked up on all the automation. And I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, this is about, for me, it's about the guests, and it's about having a high quality show. And when that happens, I mean, I can get my door. And not saying that all those things are not worthy of my time. I can probably pay somebody to do those things. And I'd rather do that and really focus on talking to people that would make things newsworthy. And so I think, I think that there's going to be like some correction in a lot of our activity about social media, because it is, some people they're not on Twitter and they're not tweeting. They're doing the stuff being worthy of being tweeted about. And I think that the important thing is to do the stuff and not solely the tweeting. I don't know if that makes any
No,
sense.
it makes perfect sense. In fact, I think as you're describing that, and I wasn't in that, even though I'm in the group, I was in that particular conversation, so I'm not privy to everything that you were talking about. But I think of social media as a tool. We have access to people just as we did before the internet. And maybe it was a box social. Maybe it was, the church, or local church or community had dances or something. That's how you met people. And that's even though it's an event, it's a tool, it's a mechanism to meet other people and to socialize with other people. In the same way, social media gives us the opportunity to do that globally without having to go to a box social or a dance if we want to go to one. But Charles, you're really good. You're really good at using the email and producing quality content. And now I'm not saying you're not good at social media, but you use that email so effectively in the way you write your copy that I see what you mean as far as focusing on what you do best. And you do that so well. If you said, hey, I've got to spend just as much time doing social media, and you took that time away from your emails, then your effectiveness, I imagine, would go down because you're taking time away from what's really working well for you. I get your emails, and they're always appealing. And then when I go to one of your webinars, it really is a quality webinar. I don't think I have a complaint for any of the events that you've had or webinars or radio, anything. It's all been valuable content. You're welcome. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I've gone to some where it's like, oh, that's my friend.
No,
that webinar.
I got you.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, there's only so much time, and it's interesting. I was writing. Just kind of writing some articles for a blog, and I just found myself saying that, some fundamentals that, 5 years ago, we didn't have these tools and we weren't talking about them. So 5 years hence, we could be talking about something else. And so what it does have to come back down to are some real fundamentals, right? So at some point, if our business, right, if our business, and in particular yours and mine, but other people who are watching, if our business is content, right? If our core business is content, then I mean that's like the 80%, and then the 20% is almost like you got to leave that for somebody else, or I don't know if that's how it goes, but the content has got to be the main thing, and then everything else kind of fits in around that, and still good things are gonna happen. At least that's my hope. And so, and kind of trying to recalibrate locally. I mean, I found myself able to reach out and really get the people I want on Twitter, right? But at the same time, though, I could do that a lot. I did a lot faster when I got on the phone. You know what I mean? Just here's this guy's phone number. Hello. Right. Hello. Hey, we'd really like to have you on our show. This is what we do. So, oh, sure. Yeah, I'd love to. When I have, and so, you kind of wonder, okay, well, how much of the activity are we sort of creating? And I have to say myself, I mean, I can't, and that could just be because I'm not all that good at it yet. But my feeling is that I don't know if I'm going to try to up my game there. I want to up my game so I can pay somebody who's really good at it. I mean, you and I know people who are phenomenal at that stuff, mm-hmm. right? We talked to Wade. He's like a genius when it comes to that stuff.
Yep.
Man, I'd almost like to say, well, Wade, what do you cost? And even if it's a lot of money, then I know what that number is then, right? I don't want to, the truth of the matter is I don't want to do it. So I want to know what his number is so I can pay him to do it. You know what I mean? So, so I mean, that whole conversation was it wasn't heated, but it was a little tense because, one guy was just kind of like, he was just saying, you know what? Social media is crap, right? It doesn't mean anything, and you can't measure it. And here's a guy who's he's not a novice. He's not a Luddite. He's into it, right? So he's just
He knows
giving his
and what he's
perspective.
talking about, but he'd still say it's crap.
He knows what he's talking. Here are the metrics. Here's what we measure. Here's what actually gets you paid. Is what he was saying. He said, can you take tweets to the bank? Can you take all this stuff
Not yet.
as collateral to the bank? And so the response was getting kind of tense, but it was all professional. But I had to take a step back. I said, okay, well, I don't know who's right or wrong, but there's some points being made that I guess you got to ultimately do. If our business is content, then that's our business, right? That's what I got to focus on, and I got to figure out the other stuff at some other expense, right? So I'll let the other stuff go until the content is there, because I guess I've been really trying to get this whole thing kind of working, the web working, and not focusing on the thing inside of the web. And it's the thing inside of the web that drives the other stuff, and that's the main thing. That's why you have your checklist to make sure that these things are happening. Because the other stuff you don't really need to do the checklist for. This checklist, you do this checklist for the main stuff, and the other stuff is kind of extra.
Exactly. And I have my promotion things, for my videos. I have, pin the video, share it in G+, but I'm not over there spending all my time with the analytics on the sharing. I'm hoping other people pick it up, but I'm spending most of it on creating quality content, because I still believe that if you're creating quality content, your day will come. You will be found.
No, right. Yeah. What is it? Abraham Lincoln, I'll study, I'll prepare, my opportunity will come. I mean, it'll happen with the preparation, and that's the main focus, But all right, well, as we speak, I think I'm actually late for something.
Oh dear. Well then, adios. Goodbye.
Story of my life.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
No, thanks for joining me, everybody. Everybody, and
All right, we'll chat later.
All right, take care.
Don't you wanna kiss and hug me? Come on strong, go on and love me. Let's not waste that big old moon. Wake up and smell the perfume. Just say, if you wanna be more than friends, got some love I'd like to make. Baby, you can squeeze me, I won't break. We could be in a paradise, you and me. Until then, I'll remind you again. Just say when. Oh yeah, until then, I'll remind you again. Just say when. Oh baby, just say when.